If all else fails and you're struggling through debt, the tough option of closing your company might be the best option for both you and your creditors. It's called a Creditors Voluntary Liquidation, or a CVL. So, Kevin, if I had a struggling company, how would you explain a CVL to me?
Well, Simon, a creditor is anyone your company owes money to. And in a CVL, a meeting of the creditors is called, where the situation is explained by somebody called an insolvency practitioner, who is then, we hope, appointed, and that person acts as a sort of executor to liquidate and close the company.
So it's kind of like closing off a person's estate, but in this case, it's a company.
Yeah, exactly. And when it's finally closed, any remaining debts of the company die with the company.
That would be a relief, wouldn't it? But I guess it's only to be used as a last resort.
Yes, the most common reasons for a company to seek a CVL is that the directors of the firm have recognised there's no real prospect of the company trading out of its current problems, or even that it's no longer in a position where it can trade at all. For example, it may be on stop. In many cases, it's better to do a company voluntary liquidation than, say, allow it to be put into a compulsory liquidation.
Why is that the better option then?
Well, a compulsory liquidation costs the taxpayer money if it's HMRC or the creditor. The company is handed over by the courts to the official receiver, who's a civil servant. They do the same job as the insolvency practitioner, but now you will be dealing directly with government, and that makes life more difficult for some directors.
Okay, so Kevin, how would I, the director, go about organising a CVL?
Well, Simon, it's not complicated. You have to appoint 4R or an independent insolvency practitioner. We draft a board resolution, which is basically a formal decision of the directors that the company has no choice but to be closed and liquidated.
And as the director, would I have to attend the meeting of creditors? That's quite a challenge to come face to face with all the people I owe money to.
Yes, and that's why it's part of the support we provide. It's a difficult time, but I'm sure you realise that creditors are entitled to have the opportunity to ask questions and to challenge the directors about the circumstances surrounding the insolvency.
And what are they?
Well, if the company has assets, these could be sold to repay the creditors. Once all the assets have been sold off, the company is then dissolved and removed from Companies House Register.
So, does this mean the business is lost to the original directors and shareholders?
Surprisingly, no. The limited company and its debts have died, but the liquidator has a duty to recover value for creditors. And the best way it can do this is to sell the assets. And the most reasonable way of selling those assets is to the original owners, shareholders, or directors. When this happens, the enterprise can be reborn under what we call a Phoenix company. This is not only legal, but often is in the best interest of the creditors and the economy. It protects jobs, it gives the owners a second chance.
Kevin, thank you. So, for further information on Creditors Voluntary Liquidation or Phoenix companies, please call us using the number that's on the screen right now.